And I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave this roll in case someone walks in. All right, Dr. Ewald, you still there?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I'm here.
Good deal. Now, like I said, I'm gonna try not to keep you guys too long in here. And all right, and I'm about to share my screen. So let
Wonderful.
me know if you can see what's on the screen. I'm about to share now.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, and you should see my dashboard. Oh, let me log back in, but you should probably
Yes,
see my login page at this point.
I see it.
Okay, good deal. And okay, let me go. And I'm just gonna pull up one of my little dummy glasses, play around with that. But anyway, while I have you on here, how do you typically set your gradebook up? We can start like with that because I'm about to go into my
Um,
and then
I don't. It's already
okay,
set up for my course.
okay, and
So,
yeah, by default it's set up for the simply weighted. But now, if you log into Moodle and show all of your classes, you should see a little dummy course that was created for you. It's probably at the very bottom of your dashboard.
oh, in Moodle, do you want me to do that now or?
Yeah, log in.
Okay, let me go see. Yeah, let me put you on a
It
thing.
doesn't really matter which one, just as long as you can get in somehow. So if you can, yeah, log in, you should probably see,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm in Moodle.
yeah. Now, do you see your dashboard with all your classes listed?
Yes.
Okay, go to the very bottom. It should be titled DMMY021920 followed by your username.
I don't know. Which class am I looking for?
Okay, so dashboard, now go to customize page and do like always show off. And it's probably at the very bottom. It should look something like this. Let me show you what the title of it should be.
Is it the tutorial thing or something or?
It should be a DMMY. Let me go to the category itself and
Okay,
show
because
you
I
that.
really, right at the very bottom, I just have my course and then all the other courses
Okay. Well,
I've
let's
taught.
see.
So,
And let's see. Let me make sure I have you in it. But this is what the title of it should be right there, Dr. Ewald.
okay, let me just go back to you here so I can, whoops, okay, where am I now? Did I lose you?
Oh no, I'm right here.
Okay, I just can't open you up again. I lost you somewhere. Let me see. Oh, there you are. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Okay.
Okay, do you see the
Oh,
course?
yes, dummy two. Okay, there you go. All right.
Okay, good deal. And what about you two? Were you able to find this? Let me see.
There it is. Okay.
Okay, so you see yours?
Yeah, dummy 2000. Yeah, B Walt. That's it. Do I need to open it up or can I just?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can open it up.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh. Okay.
Okay. And tell me when you get settled.
Yeah, I'm opened. I'm on here.
All right. Yes.
Mine over there was saying the same thing. I didn't push the power button and it didn't come on.
Let's see if something was unplugged in here. Now, typically when you guys get your classes, it's probably set, by default, it is set to the simply weighted means of grades.
Okay.
But in your dummy course, I've set it to the weighted means of grades.
Oh, so where do I go to, oh, I'm not in Gradebook.
Okay, go to
Okay,
Gradebook
I'll just get
setup.
it, the Gradebook set up. Okay, I am now. There I
Okay.
am. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
There I am.
Oh, it's fine. So
Okay.
yeah. So in your guys' little practice course, I did set you guys to the weighted grade book.
hmm
And when you have that set up, you can kind of manipulate the categories to weigh more or less what you want them to. So even if,
Okay.
let's say, because sometimes, your point value may or may not technically be that way, but if you want it to be weighed that way, I mean, when you have that set up, it does allow you to manipulate those weights a bit more.
Yeah.
Whereas with the simply weighted, your weights are pretty much set for you.
Okay.
And this is 1,000 points roughly, but let's say you wanted to add an additional assignment somewhere and you still wanted this to be 5% of the grade. If
Okay.
you still want that, that's the setup that you would ideally use. And whenever you're wanting to do that, you would go to edit settings. You see where the title of the course is right there. You go to edit settings and you can set your weight, right here.
Okay.
This
Edit settings. Where was that up? I'm sorry.
Okay, let me go back. Okay,
You can just tell. I'm in the Gradebook, but I know that I've seen it.
okay. You see the
Usually,
title of your course, like way up here? Do you see the edit option where I'm at right now?
let me get back to you.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, excuse me. Woohoo. All right. Just forgive me.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Let's see
You know
what.
why? It's too obvious. That's why. Okay. All
Okay.
right. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. And you can set your weights here. By default, this is what yours is, but you can alter that if you wish. And weight it just gives you a little more leeway on what they are.
So aggregation means that's your.
Yeah, the
what they're-
setup, the way you have it set.
So that's the kind of normal thing what we have. It's a weighted mean what
Yeah,
we
it's
have.
simply
Okay.
weighted. But
All right. I just want to make sure I don't accidentally put something different in there and then.
right. Now, there are situations where, you might not wait, and if you just want to keep the simply weighted, you can do so. And right now, I do have the category set to simply weighted, and whenever that's done, it gives you a score out of 100. It basically takes your total points earned out of your total points possible and converts that into a percentage. So let's say your student earned 350 out of the possible 400 points for their exam category.
Okay.
That just takes that 350 over 400, and it gives them a percentage.
Okay. That's simple. Simple's always good. Okay.
Right. And now some of you may also, if I go to my home page and I decide I'm going to go to edit settings here, and I wish to, I don't know, maybe hide the grade book, that's an option as well. Or if you have groups in your class and you want to be able to distinguish, which student is who, you can view those students separately in your grade book by going to your course settings and setting your group mode to either visible groups or separate groups.
Okay.
And you have the option of hiding the gradebook from your students if you wish. By default, it's set to show, but if you wish to hit no in the appearance section,
Okay.
you can do that.
So I can. Okay.
Let me get back to my gradebook here. And if I go to edit settings, now some instructors, they'll include their empty grades. By default, this is checked to exclude them. But if you decide you want to include them, that I guess to kind of keep your students from slacking.
What is an empty grade, Joel?
Empty grade is items that haven't been graded yet, and whenever they're excluded, they're not factored in. But whenever you include them, it interprets that as a 0 until that grade is updated.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Right. And now, if you just want your students to see the total amount of points out of the total points possible, you would set that to natural. And now in some versions of Moodle, it is listed as the sum.
Okay, so
Go back to your gradebook, and you'll go back and you'll edit the settings. And we're going to change that to natural, and we're going to do the same thing with the categories themselves. So if you look at the exams category and you see edit settings right here.
yep. Okay.
We're gonna change those to natural. I'm just gonna do that for each category.
Okay. Okay, so that's okay. You changed the weight of each exam then, right?
Not necessarily. You can probably just change, just change the category to natural, and when you do that, the weights are pretty much set by default.
Ah,
Yeah, because natural just gives you your total points out of your total possible, and percentages are already.
can you go back to that exam section so I can take a look and see what you did there?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, exams. Okay, now you've got weights at 36.364 and
Okay, give me just a minute.
Sorry, I missed that.
Okay, so because that's just the
okay.
yeah.
So it
Whenever I
shows
changed the
each.
category to natural, it changed.
Okay.
So now uh,
Excuse me.
okay, so final exam is set to natural, I think. And yes, okay. And yeah, I don't know why I still have that. Let me take that out. Yeah, okay. So when you do that, your student's going to see a total amount of points. Whereas, in a but a weighted means, they would see a final score out of 100.
Oh, so this is going to be the points out of 1100. That's what this does.
Right, yeah, natural gives you the sum of your points earned out of the sum of your points possible.
Okay, that kind of makes sense, but why would somebody do this?
Well, ultimately, it is up to you. And I find that sometimes your lower level students, your lower level classes will Like I had a few like that when I was in school. And, you know, I found it specifically, you know, especially with your languages department.
Mhm.
Like a lot of my language classes, they showed you your points earned out of your points possible. And some of them actually didn't even post online. And, you know, when I was in college, they were still using Blackboard. Yes, I'm that old. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes, I got my bachelor's in the fall of 2009. Got my master's here in 2012. But yeah, but yes. And you know, and I had instructors that did that. They would show you that grade in class, and it was up to you to keep a record of it, right?
Mhm.
They figured if you made it this far, you probably know how to figure out a percentage somewhere down the line. Okay. Dr. Ebot, still there?
Oh, yes, I'm here. I don't know,
Okay.
can you see me? Oh, yes, I'm just
Yeah, just
listening.
making sure I didn't lose you.
No, you didn't lose me. I'm here.
Okay, good deal.
I'll let you know
Okay, that'll work.
when I'm lost.
All righty. So now let's play around with the settings. So we're going to stay in setup and we're going to go to course grade settings. And we're going to play around with the user report here. And we're going to see by default, you have these items set to show. So if you do wish to show the average, you can do that, you know, to show what the average score of a test is. And then if you want to show letter grades, you can do that. By default, it is set to hide, but let's show that. And then once we've done that, let's save changes. And now once you do that, you should be in your grader report, you know, viewing. So let's look at like the first couple of exams and just assign a grade to one of these dummy accounts right here. And when that's done, if you click this tablet icon next to the student's name, you can see what they would see. And you see the letter grade is listed right here. And some of you in nursing, I know you use the 7-point grading scale. And if you want that to reflect, you're going to go to letters right here. And this is because I was playing around with this yesterday with
Mhm.
the other session. So I'm going to just edit this and I'm going to just put this back at the default. Okay. So by default, this is what the grading scale is. But now I know some of you do use a grading scale other than the standard 10-point. And if you wish to modify that so that your gradebook reflects that, you would go to Edit, Grade Letters, and then you would select Override the site default. And once you've done that, you'll just go in and put the grading scale you wish. So so let's say you decided you wanted the A grade to start at 91, you would just put a 91 next to this A and a B, 81, so on and so forth. This is indicating right here that, you know, if your grade is greater than or equal to 90 or higher, this is what your outcome is going to be. And once you've made these changes, you will just save the changes of your choice. Let me get back. railways. You'll save these.
I lost your screen. Did you do that or did I?
I think it was me. I apologize.
It's okay. Just letting you know. So,
Okay, can you
there
see
we
me
go.
now, ma'am?
Yep, we're just there we go.
Okay,
Yes.
all
Thanks.
right,
Yes.
good deal. I must have stopped sharing by mistake. And making sure I'm still recording. Good. Making sure I didn't hit that button. But once you've
Great.
made those modifications to your letter section and you go back, those grades should now reflect, the letter grade should now reflect
Okay.
what you set them up to be based on the percentage that that student earned. Now let's say in participation, you notice that I do have some of these, I created some of these items directly in the gradebook, and then some of these discussions, I have them appearing in the gradebook. By default, the discussions do not appear in the gradebook like your assignments do.
Uh-huh.
So what you do to see that happen, like, let's look at this first one, for example. I'm going to go to that discussion, and I'm going to scroll down to edit settings, and I'm going to scroll down to ratings. And by default, this is set to no ratings. However, I'm going to change that to the sum of ratings. And then let's say 5 points, because that's the max, that I think I had in there initially. But you can set them to whatever point value you wish. Once you've done that, you'll save. And then when you go to grades, you see that that is now it's now that would appear there. So let me make sure it took. I guess it didn't go through. Okay, there it is. It's right here. Okay, it went to the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it went there. And then if I decide I want to move it, I would check it right here, and then I can move it to the category of my choice.
Okay.
And then while we are in this setup mode, you see you can actually, if you, let's say you decided you didn't like the order of your assignments, if you see these arrows next to, that come right before the assignment name, there's a move. So when I click in this area right here, these gray arrows going up and down, this is what happens. And these squares indicate the space that this item will be moved to. Once you've selected that spot, the item will be moved. Because sometimes these assignments may appear in a random order, and you ask yourself, how did that end up there? I would like this up there, or I would like this elsewhere. So now let's try to add an extra credit assignment. So we're gonna, in your setup, let's go to add grade item. I'm just gonna type extra credit 1, and you can assign the point value of your choice, 5, 10, 15, 20, or however many points you wish. Put 10. And then I'm going to save. And now I'm going to go to the item right here. In edit settings. So I've created the assignment. So now I'm going to go to edit settings. And I'm going to check off extra credit right here. And I'm going to save the changes. And when you see this extra credit, you see this plus sign. And now students won't see this sign. If they've been given any points for it, the words extra credit will show up in parentheses, so that student will know what that is.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I see. Okay. So next we're gonna go back and we're gonna let's play around with one of these categories. Let's play around with this quiz category. Okay.
So let's go to the quiz category and we're gonna set that to mean of grades. Let's play around with that. And these are, I have them set to like 50 points each. So now let's go back to the gradebook feature and let's assign a grade to, for each quiz to one of these students. And then let's view what that looks like. If you notice, the calculated weight is the same for each one. Because with the mean of grades, it takes the total amount of items. Let's say you have 5 items in a category, and it just divides them among 100%. So each item is counted as 20% of this category. And the way the score is factored, it takes the percentage, 90%, it add, they add these percentages up. So 0.90, 0.80, 0.94, 0.82, and it divides it by the number of grades that you have. So depending on how well your student is doing, this could be a godsend for them because they're just taking they're not looking at technically, I guess, your points. They're looking at the percentage you earned and they're just splitting it among 5 grades. On the other hand, if your student is not doing so hot, they might not be too happy with you if you decide to go that route. Wait. And that's where that 86.8 comes from.
Mhm.
And I don't know how often you guys drop any grades in nursing, Dr. Ewald, because I know I
No,
have you in front of me.
no,
But
we don't drop.
yeah, I didn't think, not everybody does, but
No.
in the event that you did wish
Mhm.
to, you would just go to that exam category and you could set the number that you wish to drop. And there's 4 exams. So if you wanted to drop the lowest one or the lowest 2, you would just put that number there.
Okay.
So with that same category, let's play around with, let's let's change it to the, I don't know, the highest grade. And we're gonna save the changes there. Now this isn't an aggregation that's commonly used. In fact, it might not be the best way to determine how well the student is doing because they can fail 4 out of 5 quizzes, but since you're going by the highest grade, their quiz grade would turn out to be that highest one.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so if I go back to this student here, see his highest grade was a 94% on one quiz, so that's the grade that's being considered. So
So,
that's what's going to be factored
so
with
that's
that,
what that's what the student's going to get then. Okay.
right, for that.
All right.
Or if you did the lowest grade, they would get the lowest. You might make the students, you might make them angry if you do that. So I wouldn't do it.
No, that's not going to work.
Right.
No.
And then there's the mode of grades. Like the mode would be the grade that if you remember math from your younger years, the mode is the one that basically appears the most. So
Yeah.
if they got 3 of these 47 out of 50s, 140 out of 50 and 145, the mode is what would appear there. So that would be that 94% there. Again, not used very often, if ever, but that option's there for you. And are you teaching anything in the RN to BSN program, Dr. Ewald?
No.
Okay, so you're not. Okay.
Don't.
You say that with a relief, like, no.
For now, yeah, I kind of got my hands full, so
You're like, no, please don't.
we'll see how this semester goes because we've changed our office hours and our clinicals and our schedules, so we're getting
Ah,
used to that right now,
right.
I think the only need is for the summer this time, so that's
Wait, what's that?
they only I think they're pretty much covered except for the summer. So,
Okay.
and don't know what I'm going to do this summer.
Oh, okay. Just work at the hospital?
That probably just kind of chill out and be ready for next semester.
Mm-hmm.
So really, it's pretty self-explanatory. And you get in there and play around, you can pretty much
Mm-hmm.
figure it out. It's not quite as bad as I thought it was going to be, you know?
Yeah, for the most part, it's not a bad deal. It's, the great book, you can do a lot of things with it. It's more about figuring out how exactly you get to it.
Yeah. That's okay. That's why you're there, Joel.
Exactly. And you can also edit your settings of the gradebook here. Like if you go to your grader report, and sometimes if you go and you see that this is not, you see that you can't change your settings here. If you go to your grader report, like in the view mode, and you turn your editing on,
Oh, right.
tell me when you get there.
Oh, my little thing. Where am I here?
Okay.
I
Just
gotta
tell me
find
when.
me. There I am. Okay, so where do we go to again? Let me go.
You see turn editing on, you should see a
Oh,
button.
yeah, that's right at the,
Okay. And then if you click the spin wheel right here, you can edit your settings here. And you can
okay.
do that for each category as well.
Okay.
So that's two spots you can go and edit your gradebook.
Okay.
Okay. And then you can lock assignments, once you've put in your grades. I guess that'll prevent you from making a mistake in removing a grade.
Yeah. Okay.
You can also, if I turn my editing off, you can also, if you see this icon right here next to the name of your course, you can determine what will be viewed because by default, you have everything showing. So all grades plus the course total.
Mm-hmm.
If you hit this minus sign once, they'll only see their total or the summary.
Okay,
If
that's
you
that little
hit it
box.
again, if you hit this again, this plus sign, they'll only see grades, but not a total.
Okay.
And then if you just hit that again, you'll just goes back to it just goes back to what they'll typically see. Like I had that happen with the H and HP instructor, and she's like, "What did I do? What happened?"
Yes, and in fact, I think I called you about that too. I said, "What happened? Why can't I
You
find?"
might have.
Yes, it was me too. Yes.
And then if you hit this pencil icon right here, you can go by each student. You can put in grades that way. Or if you click on the pencil icon next to a student, you can enter all their grades that you, that way, you're inputting the right grade for the right person.
Right. That's always a challenge. Okay.
Yeah, that can be. So if you know you're working just with that student alone, you would just hit the pencil icon next to that student's name. Or if you know you're only inputting grades for one exam, you can hit the pencil icon next to
Uh-huh.
this exam and you see all your students
Yeah. Okay.
and put their grades in. And once you've done that, you'll just save. And now, and here's something nice you can do with quizzes that you create, like in Moodle, like not so much a grade item directly in the grade book, but a quiz that you created. Let's look at quiz 2. Let's
Okay.
go to edit the settings, and we're going to go to show more. Now, let's say you notice a question that a student is missed, but that your students have frequently missed. And you say, let me offset that by a couple of points or so. if I hit show more and you see where offset is, you can input a number there,
Uh-huh, okay.
and that would just give them, you would just give them, you know, a couple of additional points, and that would work for that quiz only, or whatever assignment you choose to do that
Okay.
for.
Well, that's kind of interesting. Okay.
And I know that sometimes your grades get lost whenever you do something, so I know that sometimes things happen. So typically what I recommend you guys do, especially if you know you're about to go in and make a change, like add an assignment, I would first go to my grade book and then I would export it. That way, in the event that my grades are lost, my data is lost, I have that data to retrieve at a later time. So we're in view now, grader report.
Mhm.
And you see I go to export right here.
Okay.
And typically I select the Excel sheet.
Okay.
And you see these are all the items that are going to be placed in there.
Okay.
And so if I download,
Okay. I think I've done that actually one time.
two workbooks, let me close that other one. Yeah, I still had the one open from yesterday. Okay. Okay. And that's what that looks like.
Oh, goodness.
You all right?
Just,
Long day?
yeah, been, it's
I
been a
hear.
long week already and it's only Wednesday, but that's okay. It's hump day.
Well, you know, at least you're in the middle of the week, though, you know?
It's hump day, so that's a good thing.
Right. That's a plus. So now, have you ever had an issue like with a quiz like not showing up like after it's been taken?
I haven't had any really issues like that. The way it's been set up, I've been able to put everything in and, like we have
Right.
bonus points and stuff. I
Right.
haven't.
Okay,
So,
that's good. But sometimes I guess that can happen. So with the quiz, when I go to edit settings and I go to the review options, sometimes you may find that these items are not checked.
okay. So that's review options.
Hmm. Sometimes you find yourself having to play with these review options because I've had, and this was a marketing instructor. She was like, okay, my students are saying they're not able to see their grades. I'm like, okay. So I go in, nothing really looks abnormal. However, I looked at the review options and I noticed that that she didn't have anything checked for some strange reason. So
Mhm.
like nothing after the attempt was checked and nothing after the quiz was closed. So you need to make sure that these items are
Checked.
checked, the attempt, to see what they did, the marks, any feedback, etc., etc. So now you can choose to have them see whether the answer is correct or not, or whether or not they chosen the right answer or what the right answer
Okay.
is. But you want to make sure that these items are checked, like for sure the marks and the attempt, because that kind of lets them see their results. Because if that's not checked, the grade might not show up in the grade book, and they're like, "Did you get my quiz? What's going on?" But ideally, though, when it comes to the grade book, if you want to manipulate your percentages, I advise you guys to set your grade book to weighted, and then you can set your categories to whatever you wish. I typically tell you guys to do simply weighted, natural, or weighted. You know, because if you did your categories natural and you have the gradebook set to weighted, your students can see the percentages, and they can also see like how many points are available for that course. We have about 15 minutes. We have about 15 minutes. Were there any questions, suggestions, any of that? Let me see the chat.
Nope.
Okay.
But as you play around with it, I think that I'll, get better with it. And I can always holler at you.
Right. Like, what would you say the biggest thing is probably that you encounter?
I guess it's actually when I taught a HSM course
Okay.
last semester.
Right.
And what did I have to do? I had to set up pretty much. Was it that grade book or was something else I was doing? I can't remember what I was doing. Where I actually had to set up items in it, and that's what I found the hardest. Just to set up the items.
Set the items up.
Yeah. So, but I guess that'll come with practice
Yeah,
as
you
well.
can.
Because everything's set up right now. So
Yeah, you can add a grade item here, or you can add a grade item like on the home page of your course. Now with the discussions, you will have to go in and turn the ratings on because I do, by default, discussions don't appear in the grade book. You have
okay.
to typically manually create a grade item for that. So that is something that comes up like, okay, it's frustrating to get like I had an instructor say, it's kind of frustrating to have to go from my home page to the grade book and whatnot. Is there a way that I can just input a score from there? And the answer is yes.
Can you open one of those discussions? Do they all have topics on them? Because I think that's what I had issues with. I wanted to add discussion topics and get them graded.
Right.
Can you open like, let's say, discussions, any one of those discussions, and just to see what it looks like? So, okay, you don't not adding one because you already got adding new is if you're responding to it, correct? The student does that, correct?
Or
because there's your
discussion first, and then what would happen is your students can respond. Like you can.
Oh, that's right. So I have to add that. Okay, that's where my
Right.
confusion lies.
Right, and then once you've done that, okay, I'm gonna go in and edit the settings and turn the ratings on for that. And see, by default, this is what it's set to, no ratings.
And I want sum of ratings. Okay, I
Right.
gotta remember that. Okay. Maximum grade is good. No.
Right.
Scale point gives points. Okay.
Right, just the points. And save that. You can save that.
Okay.
And when you add the new discussion and they respond, there will be a place for you to rate those students.
Okay.
And once you have given them their rating, that grade will show up.
Okay.
On their end.
Alrighty. Okay. So I'm the one that adds a new discussion, and it's already, and that was from your editing your settings there, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Edit settings, go down to administration, edit settings. I can do all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
do I need any of those other? Because you've got ratings, but you've got so many other things on there.
What's that?
Like restrict access. Is this where I close it or
Well, restricting access, that would be.
Oh, that's right.
That would be if you had a group assignment and you only wanted certain students to respond.
Okay, that's what that's for. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so you can ignore that unless you're doing group work and you're only looking for select people.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Okay, so I don't have to go to all of them. Okay, I've got an idea, the
Right,
discussion.
you don't have to go through all of them.
Okay.
And what about my folks that are in here? Any questions on this end, on your end?
Sometimes when I have a writing assignment,
Okay.
the grade book, the students just turn it off.
Hmm.
I don't know how to fix it.
Okay. And do you categorize your items or?
No, I
Okay.
just put them in individually.
Okay. Like, do you have a course that you would like to look at?
No, I
Okay.
don't have anything right now.
Okay.
It's usually with the writing assignments.
Okay.
But, for one of my courses this semester, it was I think a discussion forum.
Hmm.
I created a discussion forum, and I had the
Okay.
marks that I needed.
Oh, okay.
And then one of my students emailed me and said that in the gradebook it said it was dropped. And
Okay.
I didn't want them to think that I'm dropping assignments.
Right. Well, typically you want to make sure that there's no number right here. Like if you go into your grade book and you're set in June, you want to make sure that no number is listed where you see the drop the lowest. You want to ensure that there's nothing there if you don't wish to drop anything.
So maybe that's it. Maybe I put that on.
Yeah, and sometimes things happen at the beginning of the semester and we don't know how they happen. It's like, where did that come from? And it and from a couple of years I've been here, I would say it seems like it's right at the spring for some strange reason. But sometimes you guys courses appear when you transfer them over, they all appear as extra credit, and it's like it looks like the student has 10,000 points, and it's like, no, that's not it.
Like I said, drop the low should be zero. You don't want anything above.
Right. Like, does that happen often with you, or is it just like once
It
in?
happens like at least once a semester where I'll post a writing assignment and it'll go into the grade book and everything will be set up and weighted.
Okay.
And then I'll get a message. And it's just in the student's grade book.
Uh.
For their grade, it'll say drop.
Uh-huh.
And then they'll say, well, I guess we don't want to do it.
Right. It's like, no.
I'm like, no.
Right. It's like, yes, you do.
They still have to do it.
And so now,
But is that only for categories? That's only a few categories, isn't it? The drops.
not necessarily. I mean, because not everybody does.
I don't see the spot.
Okay, look, where you at, right?
Below it, or in the individual grade item. You're in an individual grade item. Wow.
Yeah, so that would be in the grade book itself. So,
Oh, clear.
but you have to show more and make sure that's set too.
Weird, it doesn't send the non-credit.
Yeah, it is. So any additional? Okay. So I do want to thank you guys for attending. I hope that you got something out of this, and
Yes, I did. I
okay.
did.
And then I'm in the Burton Business Center. If you need to see me on campus or you need me to make a visit where you're at,
Okay.
you can let me know that.
Yep.
So I'm going to disconnect now.
Okay.
And you have a good afternoon.
You do, and thank you for taking the time for this, Joel. It really helps.
No problem, ma'am.
Thank you.